Hello and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 258, recorded on July 7th, 2023. Say you're on an APIvolution, which Freddie says is supposed to be sung to something like, you say you're on an APIvolution, well, you know. We all want to change the world. And we're going to change your Zoho world today. And I am so fortunate. I'm Brett Martin from Zenatta Consulting. And I am so fortunate to have with me today not Tyler Culp, but Landon McCluskey, one of our fantastic consultants here over at Zenatta. Landon, thank you so much for filling in, buddy.
You bet. I'm happy to be here. Why don't we let's just get right on into the show.
Let's just do it, buddy. Right on into the news. Well, it's not news. Let's go to our announcements and events, shall we? If you are unaware and you don't know, then you have not been watching our show. This is the first time you've watched our show. We have an online community called Club Zenatta, and that is at club.zenatta.com. And over there is where we've got close to 1,000 people that are just talking about Zoho, asking questions about Zoho. We also do we keep our announcements there. We also keep track of all the events in the world of Zoho, as well as our own events. I haven't logged on in a week, so you can see we've got 8 new Zenatta events, 5 new Zoho events that have popped in. So you can go ahead and check out the events calendar, see what we've got coming up. We have got a big webinar coming up here in just 11 days, which is Boost Your Productivity with Zoho Bookings, Calendar, and Meetings. And that's going to be a fun one, Landon, because those are 3 applications that are kind of in our they're not, but but we have so many people that use those applications that we're actually going to give you our best practices on those.
Yeah, I mean, for me, they're not ones that I like recommend necessarily. We even use different stuff, but like you said, we got a lot of clients that use them, so it'll be really good to get updates on that and have some walkthroughs too.
Yep. So we're gonna do that, and then Zoho had quite a few things coming out. They've got a whole bunch of stuff going on around Creator, but also coming up here, they've got seamlessly connect your Zoho One bundle apps using low code, connecting BI to AI in the time of generative AI. So Zoho's really starting to step up their webinar series as well. We keep track of all of those here, and as always, you may know we actually do a show called Ask Zenatta Anything About Zoho. And in that show, we take all of your questions that we get from both YouTube and we get from over here on Club Zenatta under our Q&A for Azaz. So you ask your questions here. We then take those questions, we go through them, and then we answer them all every Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. So if you haven't participated in Club Zenatta, please head over there and do so. And with that, let's get right on into the news. So kind of a bit of major news here, Landon. The Zoho Campaigns team is announcing Workspaces, revamped roles and privileges, and streamlined integrations. So a couple big takeaways from this is number one, you have to have topic management set up. And if you haven't, in this article, it gives you a little link to topic management. I would suggest, if you are really just trying to get your campaign set up, that you head on over to our resource library at zenatta.com/resources, or just click on resources, and then go into campaigns and go ahead and click on campaigns, and then scroll down. And Wayne has done some tremendous videos here on topics. So we've got creating campaign topics, campaign segment topic assignments, campaign automating topic assignments. These are the videos you're going to want to look at to get this properly set up. One of the big changes that's coming out of this, though, is it used to be that several people in the organization could go ahead and set up syncs. That's all changing. It's now going to be one admin. Yeah. One admin, one sync. So that's a lot of big changes that are happening there. So you're really going to want to make sure that you get migrated and you get switched over and you change all of your syncs. I think, it's a major thing. So we keep going through this. So my guess is that the Zenatta team here will be putting out a video probably by, end of next week, stepping you through yet another major change in Zoho Campaigns.
It can get a bit messy, so I think we'll definitely get a video out here pretty quick.
Yeah, well, they did the one, it was last year, and they kind of delayed it and delayed it, where they switched to the topics and segments, and the whole change of where you're now syncing deals in, and you're able to do all those kind of things. And this is another one they're kind of sneaking in here, but it seems pretty major to me. This does not seem like it's a trivial little thing at all that they're doing. So maybe I'm wrong, maybe we're wrong, but we'll dig into it and we will let you know.
Well, it's the type of thing that I would assume that they put the banner at the top when you log into campaigns because it seems that major to me. But again, maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't either. But clearly, since you could only have one admin, one set of sync rules, no longer multiple syncs, um, that's a major change, right?
I think a
Across
lot
the
of
board.
people are going to find out who their super admin is because they probably don't remember by now.
Yeah, yeah. So we've got a whole bunch of cleaning up we need to do. More privileges going over to the admin to do certain things here. In a lot of ways, this is good. So anyway, we'll play around with it and get back to you. But this will be visible starting July 26th. So we'll be making that migration and we'll let you know how that goes. All right. And then Zoho CRM version 5 APIs. Um, the API train keeps rolling along here, Landon. So which of these really get you excited here?
The one that kind of caught my attention was getting related records via API. Now you can do that obviously, but what they do is you can pull up the activities in chronological order. The activities, whether it be the view or the view history, you can pull them up in chronological order. That may not sound, very interesting or like it really matters, but I've built a couple of things for clients where we have to pull the related records and their tasks so we can trigger things based on whether or not these related tasks are completed or not. And while you can do that in projects very easily, and that's kind of the purpose of it, it's tough to do in CRM necessarily. So being able to pull those up in chronological order is going to really help things, especially if you have a lot of things with multiple tasks. You can tell which ones are closed, which ones are needing to be adjusted. So for things that I've built out particularly, I think that's going to be really helpful.
Nice. I'm excited about this get timeline of a record. I,
That'll
I
be good
think
too.
that I think that just being able to get that detailed timeline history, I have a feeling there's going to be some really interesting things we can do with that down the road. Um, so anyway, Zoho's committed to they've got a very aggressive API update schedule that they've been kind of talking about in private, and
Very aggressive.
very aggressive with a lot of API deprecation coming down the road. So stay tuned to the API roller coaster here, folks. I mean, they've got a lot of great changes, but I have a feeling that there might be a little bit of disruption down the road. Hopefully not. But good changes here. Cool little update. And
It's
moving
very
right along.
good incentive to get yourself on the latest API and get yourself familiar with coding in that.
Yeah, for sure. All right. And over in Zoho Desk, you now have custom lookup fields on tickets, contacts, and account modules. If you are a user of Zoho CRM, you know what custom lookup fields are. They allow you to make relations between records and do lookups in various records. And so this is cool. I mean, this is something that has people been asking for a very long time. I would call this a very major update in the world of Zoho Desk.
I think it could be a kind of a game changer for a lot of people that don't use it because it's hard to connect things without the lookups. Whatever, this is going to be phenomenal. So
Yeah, I mean to be able to do this finally after all this time. I mean, they kind of slipped it in. I mean, there's not even a lot of fanfare up here at the top. Just we're excited to announce here it is. Anyway, it's going to be released in a very phased manner. I would suggest if you get our newsletter or this show is posted up on Zenatta.com, go click on this registration link and get in the Zoho Desk beta because you're going to want to have this field. If you're a Zoho Desk user, this is going to be a big game changer for you.
one of the biggest things in there, honestly, is auto population of fields. They don't have client scripting in Desk yet. Who knows when it's going to get there, if ever. And 90% of the clients that I have that want Desk, they want the layout set up. That's a pet peeve. So we have to build rules that after you submit it and whatever. So I think this is going to be I don't know. I shouldn't get as excited about random coding things, whatever, but I
No.
love it.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that for those of you who aren't familiar, client scripting is so you can do a lot of things in Zoho. So let's say I'm in a record and I'm editing the record and I'm looking at it or I'm in it. Um, Normally, if you're running a script, it's basically going to be on create or edit or save. In client scripting, it can run real time while you're on the record. So it's making the changes real time while you're sitting there on the record. You can open a new record and pre-populate a ton of things in that record based upon, uh, what depending on what you're trying to accomplish there. And they've even introduced client scripting now on the CRM side over in mobile, super powerful now as well. And so I would think that as soon as that makes it over to desk, that is, like you say, the ultimate game changer there, huh?
Yeah, a lot of this stuff, like they have so many fields that are absolutely 100% required, but they don't always, they're not always applicable. So it's like
Yeah.
you have to, when you're filling out a ticket, you have to put something in there, even if it's totally useless. And even if it's as simple as client scripting so that that fills out with a dash or something. I mean, even, little hacks like that are going to be really helpful. So,
All righty. And moving right along. All right, crazy one here. In Zoho Forms, you now have auto trash. So this is auto trash and auto trash talk, and it's both. So it's got, you know, if you want Zoho Forms, we'll just start trash talking for you
I
automatically.
thought, yeah, that's the AI feature that they put in is
Yeah,
just auto trash talks. When you go to
as it
submit it, it's like your values are horrible.
yeah, as it trashes your form submissions, it says things like your mama, things like that. Just straight up trash talk. That's all it is. What is this really? Well, I'm not sure about the use case for this. Let's talk about this seriously for a minute. So, if you use Zoho Forms, you create a form, people fill out that form. It does write that form into Zoho Forms in a database. It has a list of all of the questions and all of the answers, and it populates them in a table inside Zoho Forms. Um, I would I would say, Landon, I don't know, 99.9% of the people that use Zoho Forms, though, are writing it to their CRM. They're writing that data there. And they're writing that, or they're sending an email out, or they're sending a PDF. There's a million ways of what happens when that form fills out, what action you take with it. Um, I don't think I've gone and looked back at the actual form submissions inside of Zoho in a very, very long time. Have we lost Landon here? We need to pause the
I'm
show.
coming back. Sorry.
That's all right. All right.
No, I think the most common ones I see are writing to the CRM or help desk ticket or even just sending an email. But yeah, I maybe have two clients that ever look at it in forms. The most I really go back and look at that is for troubleshooting purposes.
Yeah, there's just just a rare thing to do this. But if you are, if you do look at these, this is a nice way to clean it up. You can have it every 7 or 30 days. Just go ahead and automatically delete them, and then after 5 days, it's going to empty the trash completely, and they're gone. So you got a little safety net there. Um, but I guess it's a nice way to keep your form data clean. I will say we've had rare occasions where people fill out a form, and you have to fill out a form on our website to book a meeting with us. And that form writes to the CRM, and then it takes you to the meeting booking, and everything gets booked, and you're done. And there's this rare occasion where I will go, I've got a meeting on my calendar, and I go look, and they're not in the CRM. They don't exist. And I will have to go back into forms and kind of search through it to find them. And yes, there is the record. And for some reason, something happened. They never got written to the CRM. So I kind of like having that as a record, but I can see that you really don't, you probably could purge something every 30 days, keep your data clean. I'm not sure if this is something for Zoho or what it's for, but
That'll be
uh,
nice for Zoho. Really, I'm not sure again what the purpose is for everybody else, but
yeah, very good. All right. And moving on, guided conversations inside Zoho Desk. So these are chat conversations. So in chat bots, basically Zoho Desk has got a bot. You can have these guided conversations where people, what are you interested in? And you're basically taking them through. It's kind of a conversation where you can interject as an agent, but you're basically guiding them through things maybe before they get to the agent. And they have now added in location block as a question block. So you can ask them what their location is and get their address and that kind of information. Um, and
I
you
see a lot
also,
of businesses it's applicable for, and I think it'll be good. I don't necessarily have anybody that I would implement it for right now, but I have started using guided conversations for clients, and it's kind of nice when when the use case is right. So
yeah, I mean, I think if you look at it, look, the big use case for this is you're a international, national, whatever company, and someone is needing help. It's in that they're going through, and you want to know, where are you, right? Because you need to properly route them, perhaps to an agent that speaks their language or an agent that's handling them locally. So there's going to be, I mean, just a ton of use cases for this. So super nice. They've also done the flow metrics, so you can now monitor your visitor inflow metrics. So if you're watching us on YouTube, basically you can look at Zycler common issues saying here, and they've got a little metrics bar, and you click on it, and it's going to drive you through what the common issues are, what people are asking, those kind of things. So just some small cleanup and guided conversations, but nice stuff. Very, very
yeah,
nice
it'll be
stuff.
good, I think.
And moving on with the news, Zoho Backstage has some really, really, really minor updates here. But I thought it was worth mentioning. So, to me, Landon, the big one is you can now export a list of attendees who bookmarked a particular session. So, if you're not familiar with Backstage, that is Zoho's event management platform. It allows you to do on site events, virtual events, blended events. You have landing pages for particular sessions. You have registration for sessions. It prints badges. This thing does it all. So people will go in, and maybe you're doing a big conference and you've got 50 different sessions, and got 1,000 attendees. And on this, people go in and they bookmark the sessions that they're interested in or that they're planning on attending. Well, prior to this update, you couldn't pull them out as a segment, and you might want to. Maybe there's been a change. Maybe it's moving to a different room. So this allows you now to do a nice export of the attendees who've chosen that session, and I'm assuming you're going to be able to message them after that.
Yeah,
And
it'll
then
be nice
other than
to
that,
target those people.
yeah, yeah. Other than that, some kind of small changes. Canadian tax rates have been fixed. Form responses can be viewed and edited by users once they've signed into a microsite. Again, another feature of Zodesk are these microsites. And you can change some notification banners. So just small little cleanup that they've done on the Backstage team is just constantly making these little updates. It seems that anytime anyone who's using Backstage makes a request for a feature, the Backstage team jumps on it and takes care of it. So there it is. With that, Landon, it's now going to become pretty much the Landon show. We're
Yay!
gonna,
Wait, I don't know if that's a
we're
good thing or
gonna,
not. It seems like a good thing, but yeah, we're probably going to lose a lot of viewers here pretty quick.
well, let's kick off the Landon show with the implementation of the week.
So this one was for a client of mine, and Hector knocked it out of the park. Absolutely. So advanced e-commerce integration to the CRM for course registration. So I've got a client that they do registration of classes, they do performances, they do donations, and they're all listed as products within WooCommerce on their website. So we needed a way to not just separate those when they come in, but when the registrations for classes come in, add those as a separate module so that we can connect registrations by user, so that we can see what classes they've taken in the past, so we can see what sessions they're connected to, everything like that. So it was just fantastic. So basically the two goals, right? Like I said, when the checkout comes over, we map the data from that course registration in the sales order. We make sure that gets over to the CRM, and then getting that to the separate module we had for the registration. So get it over, standard WooCommerce integration. And there's a couple of those. I think this might have been WP Swings. There's CRM Perks. There's a couple of good ones out there. So we set that up. Once the sales order's in there, then we just make sure on each line item there's custom fields that we created to see what type of product it is, if it's the right type. So if it's a course, then we take that and we create the registration from it. So this is really nice. Like I said, you can kind of track that course registrations over time. It's really good for marketing, for analytics, and then of course to, you know, there's a lot of stuff you can do with that. So this is a really important one, and I don't know, it just was really nice. So I can definitely see it being used for other very similar
Heck yeah.
use cases.
Yeah, very, very slick across the board. I mean, it's what we're able to do now with Woo and Shopify, and the integrations we're able to make between books and CRM and everything. The team's really doing some super nice stuff in pulling those all together, because the standard integrations kind of take it just so far, right?
Yeah.
So this is one of those things where the standard CRM sales order integration was fine, but then there's so much more you want to do with it after that, right?
Yeah. And I mean, you can always do huge API calls to get all these details and do massive coding, but Hector did a really great job making sure it was pretty clean. And we just used some advanced custom fields. That's the actual add-on in WordPress, and we were able to just take that just very simply. The client, when they create the products for the courses, it's one checkbox, and then it just makes it so much simpler on the other side of it. So it was really nice to have for them.
Nice. And actually, I was wrong. This isn't going to be the Landon show the rest of the way. It's going to be the Landon and Hector show. And with that, let's head over to Club Z and take a look at the code share of the week.
Yeah.
All
So this
right.
one too from Hector. Well, go ahead, Bray. You introduce it on this.
No. So basically, Hector is looking at establishing a round robin that is going to evenly distribute leads in the CRM based upon CRM variables. So you determine what variables you want it to look at, and then it's going to go ahead and evenly distribute the leads. Pretty much, does that sum it up pretty well?
I mean, yeah. Right now, I mean, you have a default round robin rules and triggers you can do. So based on the availability or based on the skills of the user, that sort of thing. But this is kind of nice because it adds in the ability to look up to other modules. So you could, for instance, when a deal is at a certain stage, you can say, hey, based on the stage of the deal, now we're going to assign it to so and so. So there's a lot of different things you can. It adds a lot of customizability. It's really nice.
Super nice. He's given you the entire script here. He's told you how to modify it, everything you need. So if you're looking for more of I would say, a responsive round robin, that's probably the way to go.
Yeah, no, it should be good. I mean, you've always been able to say, here's a workflow rule that when a deal hits a certain stage that you can assign it to so and so, but it's not able to do it with round robin rules in there. So this really helps.
All righty. And before you're back, I think your new nickname is going to be Elegato.
I know,
Huh?
right?
Yes, Elegato. Um, all right. And carrying on here, if you're not watching us on YouTube, Landon's having some camera issues and just keeps coming up with Elegato on his screen, And anyway, all right. And moving on to the next code share of the week. And this one I love. This is Hector yet again saying, oh no, that can't be right. So Beat Z, often contributor over on Club Zenatta and just a longtime follower of the show, had asked a really simple question. He's got tags, and if you have more than 3 tags in a record, the other tags are hidden and they show up with just a little more link, and you've got to click on that more link to rearrange to see what the tags are. And he had reached out to Zoho and support and said, I want to rearrange these tags. I want to reorder the tags so that maybe the newest ones first so I can see those, then the others drop off. So I can choose what tags are important to me that I see without having to click the more link for other tags. Was told that was not possible. Hector said, no, I refuse to believe that. I don't know if you know this, Landon, but he spent 30 days in the desert with no food or water until he had the vision of how he could accomplish this. It came
Yeah,
to him.
yeah.
Um, there was some ayahuasca in there. There was a shaman. There was a whole bunch of stuff, but he cracked the code. So basically, he has written a script that will rearrange the tags for you. And so there you go. And it's a simple script and it's using workflows. And guess what? You get brand new rearranged tags by order added. And it's there you go.
It
There-
doesn't seem like that important of a thing, but when Zoho says it can't be done, I think that just
Yes,
triggers something, especially
it
in
does.
Hector. Apparently, he's like, time for the desert. I'm gonna go out here. Let's figure it out.
I know.
Hey,
I know.
cool. So, the small segment of people this is important for, I feel like this just made their week or
Yeah.
life, really, probably.
Yeah. And by the way, it's just like you envisioned it. He has a VW bus and he drove out there. It's just like you picture it. It's crazy. Straight out of a movie. All right. With that, let's head on over to Zenatta and see what we got going on over there. All right. Zoho Social versus Hootsuite. Which one is right for you? Our trusted marketing team has put together a nice blog. And I have to say, I read this blog this morning. I thought this was going to be some shill piece for Zoho Social, which is an absolutely amazing application. But they're giving both apps their credit and their due for their strong points and their weak points, and they kind of highlight them. It kind of comes down to a tie at the end of the day. I personally will tell you that I think Zoho Social, for 99% of the companies out there, is going to get it done for literally a tenth of the cost. So it's a great application and well worth it. But this is a really nice comparison of the two. So I
Yeah,
don't know
and
if
I
you.
will. I will say, I actually, I haven't read this yet, so I got nothing.
He had one job to do, one before this show. You know, uh, get your kids to school or get this read. I don't know what the heck. Come on, man.
I think I put a kid down for a nap or something. Who knows? I don't know.
Anyway, no, it's a great. Hootsuite's a great application, but Zoho Social, not only the tenth the cost, it's included in so many different bundles, and it's included in Zoho One, and it just does the job really well. You can manage all your social posts, you can manage all your social feeds, you can manage all your conversations directly in it. It's just outstanding. So well worth taking a look at. But also shout out to Hootsuite, good stuff there. Nice job, team. And with that, let's head on over to YouTube and look at our tip of the week.
Yeah, so
Well, that
this
guy
is a
looks
pretty good
familiar.
one. Oh, no, this is I thought we were wow. I thought you would have actually put somebody else cool in there, but okay. So, no, this is this
What'd you
is
do
a
here?
this is a decent one. So, on your home screen, right, you've got your different metrics and whatever. And I I saw a couple, and I wanted to get this out there for people because it can be very, very useful. So, on your home screen dashboard, you can add Zoho sheet views, right? So you're actually not just seeing like a snapshot of it; it's the actual Zoho sheet, your spreadsheet there. So you can edit it there, anything you want. So what I do in this tip, I just show you how to add it to your home screen so you're seeing it. And then I do have a little bit of a warning in there because anytime you come to this page, you're automatically selecting the first box in that view. So I have a couple of clients that when it goes to the dashboard, the top left value is always different. It's just something random because it's not set in a way that it's protected or anything like that. I have to dig into it a little bit more to just double check to see whether you can protect it, or worst case scenario, just leave that top box blank.
Yeah, it's one of
But
those. We were talking about it before the show, and I've actually kind of paused the video if you're watching on YouTube at the right area here, right? So you've got this allow interaction button, right? And it's not checked, which means there should be no interaction allowed with it. Um, it's strange. I was playing with a little bit before as well. I'm not sure why, but it's a cool feature though, right? To be able to embed a sheet directly on your CRM dashboard. That's awesome, dude. I mean, I can see just so many use cases for that down the road. Um, But that the ability not to lock it's a little interesting. I don't know why.
Yeah, we'll
We'll
figure it
play
out.
with
I'm sure. Let's talk to Hector. Is his van gassed up?
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get him out in the desert and let's get
Hector.
this figured out. Make it happen.
Yes. I'm going to send the shaman over to collect you shortly, Hector. We'll go out and get this one solved, and away we go. But cool little implementation. I can see, like I said, a lot of use cases for this across the board. So I imagine since you were able to figure this out, that we could do the same with their, Zoho Show, right?
Probably, yeah.
And I would imagine you could do the same with Zoho Sheet. I mean, it seems like any of their Office applications you could do some embedding with, I would imagine.
I think there ends up being a lot of things that different parts of Zoho are capable of, especially like adding widgets and that sort of thing that they don't tell you about. Like this, if you go to the permalink or the publish link, it doesn't work. You have to go into the embed code and just steal that little bit. And
And it
there's a
does.
lot of stuff that I think people just stumble upon, and it's really nice. So
A workaround that might, if this works. So in Zoho Show, which is their PowerPoint application, you can do a direct link to Zoho Sheet to make a pretty table on a slide. Okay. And if you were to share that slide and embed that, right?
there
Maybe
you
it won't
go.
be
There you
editable.
go.
That might work. We'll have to play around with that one. That would be that'd be interesting. All righty. Well, everybody, that is going to wrap up our show for this week. I want to thank everybody so much for joining us. Landon, thanks for sitting in.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. So
And if you would like to reach us over here at Zenatta.com and talk to us about how we can help you with your Zoho implementation or Zoho needs, just head over to Zenatta.com and click on Book a Meeting.
yep. And on the website is also where you're going to find full episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories that we discussed today. So if you want that stuff delivered to your inbox every single Monday morning, go ahead and make sure to subscribe to the newsletter. And as always, we would love if you would like and subscribe here on YouTube and your choice of podcast app. So have a great weekend, everybody, and we will see you next Friday right here on the CRM Zen Show.
Have a great weekend, bud. Thanks, Landon.
Did I knock it out of the park? Did I do fantastic?
Oh, it's out of this world.